Welcome to the Pelvic Power Hour. Real answers to real questions from real women. Today's topic, top solutions for vaginal dryness. Hi everyone, Isa Herrera here, and I help women have happy vaginas and happy bladders. Welcome to my Pelvic Power Hour podcast. There is no jiving on this show, okay? Each week, I tackle a question from my community, helping you to empower your pelvis and transform your life. Now, it's time for you to elevate your knowledge, embrace your goodness and your pelvis, and hit that subscribe button. Now, spread this information to all the women in your life. This is very important, okay? Because this information that I'm about to give you will change your life and will change the life of a loved one. So, as a sisterhood, we need to share this information, okay? So, share, like, and hit the button, all right? So, now, um, here's the question. And this is a great, fantastic question. So I want to thank Donna for it. This is from Donna from Michigan. Why is my vagina dry and what can I do about it? I'm 51 years old, so she's young. Intimacy is impossible, and I'm worried about what else can happen. All right. And she says, thank you, Isa. So thank you, Donna, for sending this question in. Now, if someone had told me that at the age of 41, I was going to go into full-fledged menopause, I would have said, no way, no way. But that's exactly what happened to me. And I experienced a tremendous amount of down there dryness, itching, burning, fragile tissues, my marriage on the line. So I know, Donna, what you're experiencing. I know what other women are experiencing, okay? And now here's the truth, and I have some statistics for you. 70% of women between the ages of 18 and 50 experience vaginal dryness. 18, okay? In my clinic in New York City, we saw very young women with this issue, and I'm going to talk to you about the causes and the solutions in a minute. 50 to 75%, that's almost everybody who's postmenopausal experiences vaginal dryness. Now, I want you to understand the difference between vaginal atrophy and vaginal dryness. Now, vaginal atrophy is a condition, right, often seen after menopause and refers to thinning of the tissues, right, vulvar tissues, inflammation of the vaginal walls due to what? Low estrogen. Now, vaginal dryness, which is what we're going to tackle today, is a symptom characterized by lack of moisture in the vagina, which can occur for many, many reasons, which we're going to cover as well. Now, typically, vaginal dryness and vaginal atrophy go hand in hand, but they don't have to. Okay? But many times they do. So, the question today is, why is my vagina dry and what can I do about it? So, I love to hear the comments. I want you to interact with me. So in the comments, tell me what are your experiences with vaginal dryness, because the more we share, the more we are going to do what? Be able to help each other, right? So what are your experiences with that? Now, you're in the right place today if you want to really, really understand how to make your vagina juicy, creamy, and hydrated without what? Taking risky hormone therapies. Naturally. This is all about natural stuff because this is the way I roll, okay? So today we're going to discuss vaginal dryness, right? So let's start with what contributes to vaginal dryness. There's a couple of things here. So I want to go through them because we have to become detectives of our own bodies. When we examine our bodies, when we go inward, when we sort of like, why is this happening? That is the moment that we get the answer to the root causes of our issues and the root causes of our vaginal dryness. So, an unexamined life is not worth living, and an unexamined health crisis is also something that we need to what really think about. Okay, just not go there and take the prescription because that's the easy way out. It doesn't work. Okay, education is power, and that's what this podcast is all about. So, hormone fluctuations, cause number one. Okay, so hormonal shifts, basically sometimes a decrease in estrogen, right, can contribute to vaginal dryness. That's what everybody knows. Now, these hormone shifts occur, listen to this, during immediately in the postpartum period when women are breastfeeding, perimenopause, and menopause. So these shifts in your estrogen can happen during the course of many different times in your lives, right? And while estrogen contributes to and helps fragile tissue and dryness, hormone replacement therapy is not the only way to, it's not the only solution. It really isn't. And so for some women, they may need to explore different avenues, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, another cause besides the hormone fluctuations and the decrease in estrogen, which is what everybody knows, is pelvic floor tightness. When there's an imbalance in the pelvic floor, and I'm going to bring out my model, and this is the pelvic floor. You have an external view of the pelvic floor here, and this is the internal view of the pelvic floor. It's like your basin. It's like it's everything that's female, okay? And there's many things about the pelvic floor. Maybe I'll go into an anatomy thing with you guys later on, okay? So pelvic factors can affect vaginal health. So if your pelvic floor is tight, scarred, scars in the pelvic floor, thin walls, or if they're loaded with trigger points, like little micro spasms in the vagina, this can make everything so tight, right, that there's no circulation to the pelvis, and it can contribute to dryness. I'm going to give you a massage for that in a minute, okay? So that's something to understand. Lifestyle factors, douching. I don't know why anybody's still douching, but douching, panty liners, wearing adult diapers, right? Perfume soaps. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Scented vaginal perfumes that are out there, right? Over the counter moisturizers. Now, I went to the feminine aisle here at the local pharmacy, and I could not believe what was on there. And the majority of the stuff really not helpful. Not helpful, not helpful at all. And so we have to remember that this is a $60 billion industry. And before we put anything over the counter on our vaginas, we need to read it, we need to research it, and we need to make sure that it's something that's going to work for us. So be really aware that a lot of the over the counter moisturizers make promises that they basically cannot fulfill. So that's important to understand. Now, pharmaceutical influences. This is important. Birth control. This is when a lot of the young women were coming to my clinic with a lot of vaginal dryness and atrophy. So that's a big contributor to that. Um, Antihistamines, because they dry you up. If they dry you up systemically, they're going to dry you up down there as well. Antidepressants. I can't tell you how many women I saw in my clinic who were on antidepressants, had no libido, and suffer from vaginal dryness as well. And some of the young girls who were on Accutane, right? So Accutane can also be something that can contribute to vaginal dryness. And health conditions like diabetes, lichen sclerosis, hysterectomies, Sjögren's syndrome. I have two friends that have that, okay, experiencing vaginal dryness, endometriosis, breast cancer. So many women believe that they're destined for vaginal dryness. There's nothing they can do except go down and get that prescription pad, and that's not true. So let's go over some of the things now that you can actually do. Now, first thing, estrogen cream, depending, is being hailed as the panacea for vaginal dryness. But I just want to let you know that it can potentially cause vaginal hormone imbalances, vaginal irritation, itching. That happened to me, itching and a lot of inflammation. Bleeding can happen. That's happened to me as well. And it can seep into your system and be a destructive force for your vaginal flora. So vaginal flora is very important. When you maintain your vaginal flora in healthy state, you're also going to have a juicy vagina. Okay. So it's not the only choice, but it is a choice. Okay. Now, the other thing is vitamin D. One thing that I saw in my clinic quite a lot, women with very low level vitamin D's also have issues with their vulva dryness, vaginal fragile tissues, vestibular vulvodynia, which is like a pain around the inside of the vulva right in here, right? All due to lack of vitamin D. So make sure that that you're supplementing with the vitamin D, and make sure that you check with your doctor about your vitamin Ds and correct that. Okay, now vaginal sunning, I love something that I do, and so in the mid afternoon you can go in the sun, make sure it's not too hot. You can take your underwear off and you can sun the vagina as a way of getting extra vitamin D. It's not for everybody, but I wanted to throw that out there. Now, for pelvic floor tightness, one of the solutions is massage. A lot of women have scars. A lot of women have trigger points. A lot of women have, and this contributes to a lack of circulation. A lot of women have a lot of stress. And the pelvic floor is a basin. It collects everything. It collects your stress. It collects your emotions, right? And so we have to open this up so that we can have more breath into this area, more elasticity, more hydration, and more microcirculation. So the best way to do that is through massage. And I'm going to give you a massage that I call the half moon massage. It's one of my favorite massages. So please check with your caregivers, right? Before you try any of this, make sure you're completely healed. Okay. So here is the vaginal opening. Imagine that it's a clock. So just stay with me here. 12 o'clock to the top, 6 to the bottom, 3 to the left, 9 to the right. It's like the clock is on your belly, okay? So we're not going to touch the 12 o'clock position because that's where your bladder is. A lot of women have prolapses, so we're not going to go there. But we will massage the bottom part of the pelvic floor. So you can put your finger and your index finger up to the first knuckle only and massage from 9 to 6, like a half moon stroke, and then take the other hand and do a half moon stroke from 3 to 6. So it looks like this. Here's my vagina. Okay, it's cut in half. We're working on the bottom half, so you're going to do a little massage on this side, on the left side, and then a little massage on the right side. And I absolutely believe that internal work is the way to more lubrication, plus doing a couple of other things that I'm going to talk about. And I talked about avoiding douching. I can't believe women are still doing that. No more douching. Okay, it can disrupt the vaginal flora, increase the risk of pelvic inflammatory disease, irritate the vaginal tissue. So it's very serious when we douche, okay? How much bad it can do, and we think we're doing good, right? So stop that. Soaps on the vagina. I mean, listen, there's a whole industry on feminine washing. We don't need that. The vagina is a self-cleaning oven or self-cleaning structure or organ or vitality. It's self-cleaning. It doesn't need perfumes. It doesn't need feminine washes. It disrupts the vaginal pH. It disrupts the vaginal flora. And we think we're doing something fantastic for ourselves. And this is something that could be contributing to your vaginal dryness. So, really start thinking about that. And if you want to discover more about, and a lot of women do it because they feel like they smell down there. So if you want to discover more about scent and what it actually really means, go and check out my episode, okay? Scent of a Woman. I think you're going to love it. It's going to open up your eyes, okay? So I don't really like soaps for the vagina. Like I said, the vagina is a self-cleaning oven. Sexual lubricants, many of them can be causing our dryness, so be really careful what you're using there as well. They can alter your pH, they can irritate your tissues, and they can actually dehydrate you more. So I love natural things for sexual lubricants. So coconut oil is fantastic for that, but know that coconut oil can also create some damage to condoms. So if you're using condoms, be careful with that. And if none of that works, and what you could do is you can get a really nice organic pH balanced water-based lubricant that works for you. Okay, that actually increases moisture. So now there's certain herbs and ingredients that are fantastic for the pelvic floor, and I want to share them because you need to know these. Okay, the first one is hyaluronic acid, capable of giving you like 1,000 times its own weight in water. It is fantastic, and it offers a promising alternative to hormone replacement. It can support the moisture depletion of the vulva, the vagina, the urethra, and the bladder. So that's incredible. DHEA, love it. It's primarily produced by the adrenals, and it decreases as we stop producing it as we age. So DHEA is the building block for estrogen and testosterone, which we need down there to maintain our moisture. So it's natural, it's fantastic. So I love it. And DHEA also makes your tissue feel really supple and soft again. Aloe vera, oh, beautiful. It's just as effective in the literature and the research. It says it's just as effective as estrogen creams for atrophy. So that's one. Evening primrose. I love evening primrose. And these are the things that I discovered as I was going through my own healing journey and I was experimenting and I was trying to come up with something that would work for me, that would get me out of this menopause mayhem with the vaginal dryness that was destroying my marriage and was destroying my self confidence. And I was feeling like, what is going on here? So I experimented with a lot of these ingredients. Evening primrose is really well known for plant source of estrogen, so it's really fantastic. Coconut oil, fantastic, keeps your vaginal flora nice and balanced. Vitamin E, okay, I mean, listen, how many, board certified dermatologists recommend vitamin E for maintaining, your elasticity and skin health. So vitamin E. Now, I know that that was a lot, so I hope you took notes here. I wanted to give you a quick sort of um, lesson on vaginal dryness. And I know that you probably took a lot of notes, so you can listen to this over and over again. But, in my experience, when I wanted to really heal myself from vaginal dryness, I decided to take all these beautiful things that I just mentioned and put it into one supplement, a vaginal supplement that is natural, that is plant based, that is non GMO, that's made with organic ingredients, that is pH friendly to help women become juicy again and creamy and feeling fantastic down there. So that's when I want to introduce my Total Femme Rejuvenator. And what I'm going to do is hormone free. Okay, I'm just going to put the link here because I think women need to open their minds up to a new kind of way, a new science called intracellular feeding, and it's all in the information page. So just click the link for that. So I know that that was a lot, but it's something that I get a lot of um emails and questions on, and what I wanted to do was really give you an overview of the causes and the solutions so that you have many choices. Thank you for joining me on the Pelvic Power Hour. I'm so excited. I'm Isa Herrera, and I hope women have happy vaginas and happy bladders. I want to thank Donna for sending in her question because every question matters and counts. And I want to thank my community for being here, for showing up for me, for subscribing. And there's going to be more. I'm so pumped up for this, okay? So leave your comments below, subscribe, hit the bell, all those things. And I love you guys. And by the way, you don't have to suffer with vaginal dryness.